Alrighty, daily trading recap here for another pretty informative day and growing pains in this trading career. Down $200 on the day after some options derivative playing around with in the SPY on the overall market. Learning lessons all around, key takeaways that I'll get into in a little bit. Let's just go quick over some intraday metrics here for just my sake of watching these reviews. Market internal dollar volume on the day as of 24 minutes after the close here, NASDAQ $444 billion volume, NYSE $616 billion volume trading on the day, OTC $3.4 billion volume, insane dollar volume that we've not even come close to seeing in recent months, even like half a year maybe even. Pretty hard down day. Overall on the SPY, again, gapping down hard after that hard red day over the weekend Friday. And yeah, we can go into it right here now. I also have, for the options that I was trading initially within the first, I think cutting here at that 15-minute mark on my last call options trying to buy, just using that as my little reference that I took notes on just for my own sake of buying Monday expiration. 10 contracts a piece I was going in and out on, initially trying on 437 strike, getting a little tiny decent profit as it was chopping around, not really doing exactly what I wanted to see. And then trying my hand at 438 strikes just for the sake of just being able to buy more contracts. Kind of stupid in hindsight, but just playing a smaller contract size on that 438 and ended up taking a big pretty loss on that one. And in hindsight, I can go on. I was just completely and totally using this trade based on, hey, I think it's going to do this. Not based on any fundamental analysis, not based on, there's support here at this point. And not like I was watching ADD tick levels pretty hard of, okay, ADD's down quite a significant bit, but hey, tick's rising here. We're getting some buying pressure coming in on this. We're still selling pressure. We're under zero on the tick, and ADD is still looking very, very incredibly weak. But hey, we're looking decently, and I'm not looking for an incredible, crazy, insane reversal. Hey, I'm looking for a little move here to 436. If anything, if that selling pressure of any shorts are still holding this thing over the weekend, looking to cover into this, force some buying pressure. Any amount of push in this that just gets some amount of bounce here. I mean, looking on the daily itself, just for how we've traded red for 4 days, we're having another huge gap down here into this market date. Maybe this morning volatility brings about something. That was the entire thesis for this little options trade that I had today. And I became very emotional on, I found myself very emotional in my reaction to when I ended up taking a loss on, scaling myself in and out for when I was chopping around and then trying to buy in this VWAP consolidation here and then ending up having to cut as it's continuing to just break to new low a day there. The anger I was feeling, then the emotion of, okay, wow, I have not felt that type of emotion or just anger at a losing trade in a long time. And I think that became from the fact that this trade really wasn't based on anything and no chart pattern recognition, which I love to trade on of, hey, collecting a little tiny portfolio of recent movers or recent charts that follow a similar pattern and playing off of any similarities off of those. Whereas this one was just I've not traded SPY in such a long time, but even today of, okay, there's volatility and it could do this. And then proceeding to throw a huge position size, huge for me, especially derivative, like leverage position size on a very kind of whimsical bet. And probability at best, wishy-washy. Had this trade actually worked out and been successful, I mean, even if it did just barely take close to 436, I get a nice little scalpy call move there. And then it ends up just tanking or moving similar to how it did, still trending lower, creating new lows into the afternoon session and then doing whatever it wants to do post-afternoon session. Regardless of that, I think I would have gotten a little bit more, not hot-headed, but airheaded of, yeah, sweet, making money's easy. All you got to do is push buttons. So I can take it with a grain of salt and say, okay, maybe I needed this today for that realization, just slap in the face that markets are never logical to try and predict that way, and it's never going to be 100% win rate of what I just think and just go on that thought process. There's going to be intuition. I know that's going to develop, and sometimes it's going to help me a lot, and sometimes it's going to hinder me and hurt me a lot on some trades. But gosh, yeah, I think just key takeaways that I'm writing down, even my journal for today, off of those trades, which I was taking a pretty significant position size on for the lack of preparation. I want to say not preparation of coming into today. I did a lot of thought process of, okay, what could I see of this thing coming out? If it does consolidate, do I really expect that to be part of my trading plan of doing mental preparation that way of different things of trying to predict the future? But through that of key takeaways of me for being, okay, when we're in this situation, I cannot go that large of a position size compared to relatively to where I've been trading recently, and especially not because of the fact, I don't think this was because that I wasn't taking any other equity trades or other tickers were lighting up my brainal cortex. Not at a FOMO sense of, God, I got nothing else to do, so I'm bored, I'm going to trade on this one. I don't believe it was anything of that, but it was, gosh, I believe the opportunity and volatility is there, but it's like that was the only bet. That was just the thought. And going off of that sometimes can be awesome. And how many times I've not taken trades like that and it just works out beautifully, like I'll mention on BTBD in a few minutes here as well. But just on this one of, there was a little bit. But the consolidation really wasn't in my favor. And I can write another key takeaway of, gosh, I did prep a little bit to say, if it's consolidating, I don't really want to see that. I just want to see an immediate, quick little squeeze or buying pressure immediately out of the gate as just a bunch of volume comes in after another huge gap down of whatever. Trying to pinpoint the exact reason why this thing could bounce, not based on any amount of fundamental or technical analysis, is really just bobbing for apples, just shooting fish in a barrel. But in the same light, too, you had it worked out, I would have looked like a genius. And so many different perspectives I could put on that. But this lesson, this knowledge P&L bank-wise builder, I think is just going to be far more valuable than anything really that I was going to get from a profitable trade on this one. Because it was that. It was just a guess. It was... and that's what a lot of trading is at times, but it is a total mental battle in the same light. So I think the emotional strain, the realization of, whoa, I am having way too much attachment to this trade. Peep the little VIP visit from Ripley there. The little emotional strain, I think, was such more of a valuable lesson than anything I could have gotten on actual P&L wise. Because of the value of saying, whoa, hold your horses. Where are you placing your value in this trading career? And why had you become so attached to this specific idea? And why did that cause you to have such a reaction? So the little psychological psychology session I had with myself today, gosh, it was probably worth it. That was probably what I would have been paying the same rate for to talk to a trading doctor in the same light. So it's all learning lessons, and it's just going to be another loss in the book. There's going to be far bigger losses, I know for certain, in the future. I'm not going to try to make those, but this is just another one of those under the belt. And cutting losses quickly, not acting stupid, not adding on, compared to still my biggest loss in my trading career of something $500 that I was trying to go. We had a huge gap up in SPY, and then I'm trying to just leverage contracts continue as it's dipping against me and continuing to dip, and I'm still trying to go long. How the turntables have come to right now for how I was acting with this specific trade of not adding on, cutting losers when they needed to be cut. What a great enrichment again, or involvement with the options market themselves again too, of trying to get filled in those and finding. Of course, SPY is one of the most voluminous options markets out there, but even still, that of watching how that price action and derivatives price finds themselves, and even though the bid and the ask is there, maybe the price isn't trading at that point. Involving myself again, and that was another great lesson as well. And yeah, the last key takeaway for me, that's kind of just part of options trading. It seems like a big loss, but at the same time, for what I was up at certain points, also kind of pairs alongside with that loss that I was taking, ended up taking today as well. So yeah, that is part of options trading. It isn't similar. I can't be necessarily playing it the same way as normal equity or listed stock trading, of just kind of holding it for break even, or just trying to get at this point, or watch it price do this specific thing. You kind of got to hold yourself ransom to the whims of the market at time, or trying to do those calculations. The way I was trading the options today, of trying to do that little quick scalping move there with options, and compared to swing options or the whatever those option strategies. But golly, lots of learning lessons today on SPY. I think that's all I had for introductory and talking about that SPY trade today. Just wanted to go over quick BTBD first day play. Similar thing to BSFC last week, trading day Friday. And it's another food company today too. 2 to 3 million floater, American fast food restaurant company. No specific news catalyst that I'm seeing today, but just spiking crazy. closing yesterday around 250-ish, spiking to 22.5 here in pre, pretty much right after the open of pre, and then just huge crazy pullback dropping off. And this was the one that I was alluding to in the introduction of, okay, playing a similar move of BSFC after that first day, after this first day move of it really did not have any strength whatsoever above VWAP, really in anytime in pre-market after that initial spike, and then as it's falling under, and especially in market hours, just trying and attempting to break to the upside of VWAP, but just failing, getting constantly blown over. And how it distorts a little bit because of the fact that that spike is on the screen, how I could relate that a little bit into how that could deceive potentially some eyeballs or perspectives on this chart of the potential opportunity on these trades for, okay, well, there's still huge opportunity. This thing's dropping from 6, coming closing all the way down close to 3.6 by the end of the day. That's a huge percentage move to the downside of who's actually looking to play that. Whereas compared to this perspective of, oh, it had a huge parabolic spike and fail, and yeah, and kind of dwindled, did whatever. But in looking back at this, like, there's prime real estate. That's big opportunity there to be trading that to the downside. Just play for an easy fade and sit as a short. So I could have seen myself playing a similar type of thing that I was a little bit too focused on SPY today, trying to trade that little dip buy or trend reversal today on there, as it pretty much did the same thing. We're opening right around 3.7-ish and right in that morning session, 15 minutes. Beautiful, coming right down to that $3 mark. And then continuing to just fade and chop, do whatever, blahness coming into today. And eyeing this one potentially for, it's still up 25% relative to where it closed previous trading day, that last week Friday. But eyeing potentially, I mentioned on APM and LAZR after those first day plays, looking at the first screen day overnight short of kind of almost saving myself a day trade on those. And I do feel the pattern is there that really no volume or any type of push on these has been coming after hours or pre-market following these first day plays in this recent market sentiment trend. So playing a potential trade-off there, but I just don't feel so incredibly confident doing it on a 2 to 3 million floater. And the fact that BSFC, if I'm mirroring this trade similar to BTBD of, okay, it got a little bit sketchy in that pre-market today following that first screen day. So, yeah, I don't really know if I'm apt to sit through that type of price action move. They're almost, call it like 100% in the red move against me there. That, by the time I'm waking up, of course, it's already back down pretty close to what my position would have been, but in the same light of, oh yeah, that can certainly do whatever it wants to do and be at $20 before I even realize it. So I think I'm going to do paper short on that one if I do end up taking a trade overnight on BTBD, looking for the same type of sentiment of just no volume coming in and then this thing just continued bleeding after it's lost all the attention and luster after that huge, insane first spike there. 13-cent borrow fees that I also saw through Trade Zero just for funsies that I was looking at. Pretty expensive. I mean, it is a super low floater, but yeah, pretty expensive. Borrow fees for that one. And they also got a few IPO warrants out, being cautious of that for the dump. And then BBIG. Just last sticker I'm going to mention, eyeing this one for the first green day play. Had a little bit of a move right away in the morning session after a little dip, testing VWAP there. Okay, taking around 295 or Art of War was able to get 2.9-ish area and play this thing. Still have a little bit. Gosh, it's not beautiful. It's not awesome or glorified to look at, but I mean, a little bit of opportunity is there, but then just nothing else to support it after that move, getting rejected at 310, dumping all the way down to 265 level, and then just continuing to downtrend into the lunch session, but closing pretty decently and nicely. And after hours, putting in some more spike and actually breaking the market hours high a day here, coming back to 310. I think Art of War is actually holding a position on this one overnight to play a gap up on this one for the next day. But it's like looking on not only on a daily perspective, it's almost a perfect V here, but even on a 30-minute perspective of trying to play for a first green day trend reversal, it's kind of still holding this channel. That's pretty wide. Let's redo that one. There we go. Like maybe that to like that. I mean, yeah, it's broad and lines are never going to do it justice, but it's even through this little gap up, it could still kind of reject here, just linger back down closer to $3, 280-ish level, and still be holding this downtrend. So I don't know if it's fully confirmed as a trend reversal as of yet, but yeah, it could be a nice little move to hold overnight there. I'll certainly pay attention to it and watch, probably not take a position on for me, as of right now, there was a huge. Was able to screen record the tape and level 2 time and sales on this one today. There was a huge ask, 100,000 shares showing at 296 in pre, which just kind of disappeared and went away. So I don't know if that factored into that hard sell-off at 310 there. They do also have a large amount of warrants out. This is a huge float, 100 plus million floater. A large amount of warrants out that they know how to use. They can freaking bag some money. Also 120 million bucks in convertible notes. But yeah, that was all I really saw on BBIG today. Learning lessons all around. That is all the tickers I want to mention, and nothing hard for me convicted that I'm seeing on the scanners as of right now to also be looking at or trading. Just more time in front of the screens, more involvement and understanding of who I am as a trader and the faults that it's never going to be perfect, and I'm never going to just like fine tune myself to be like, oh, I never have to work on myself again. Like I've just created the ultimate player. It is always going to be old problems going to come up, but the ability to recognize them and just knock them down immediately and go forward from there is going to be a continual process and growth pattern that I can see in myself within the next few months and the entire rest of my career as well. But that is all I really had to say on that one. I sincerely thank you guys for watching. We will catch you guys on the next one.